comments. But I'm going to talk about a friend of mine, Wayne Corless. Actually became a friend of mine about 10 or 12 years ago in Auburn. In fact, he was in the class that I taught. Now we kind of got together, but before that we met in another class, and when we got through with that, we didn't know what the class was about. And that was like 8 seconds. I came down by the first day to AU Wall and sat on the front row of this particular class, and I didn't remember what it was. And there were 8 or 10 people sitting on the front row and all like that, and filled up pretty good. There was one seat vacant, and here comes this big old monster that fell in and blew right by me. It was Wayne Corless. He introduced himself, and I introduced myself, and that was pretty much it for the day. Well, the next week, he came and he sat by me again, and we had a whole row of 10 or 12 people there, which was fantastic, I thought. And we introduced ourselves again, and we started talking about one of the man's favorite things, that is eating. And I found out then that Wayne was an eater. Boy, did he like to eat. And he thought he was a pretty good cook, too. But anyhow, he enjoyed eating. Well, the next week, Wayne came in, and I was sitting down. Wayne, I believe that, and he sat down by me. We were talking, and I said, Wayne, did you have spaghetti and garlic last night for supper? He said, yeah, how did you guess? I said, well, so we don't want to order for a roll. Everybody else moved to the back of the plate. Well, I wanted to find out if he could take a joke, and I found out he could. We became friends that particular day. But during one of these classes that I was teaching, I was always talking about, I'm a kayaker. Well, I'm 83 years old, and I still learn to kayak. And I kept talking about how peaceful it was to be a kayaker, how great it was. Well, one night I came in, and Madge says, honey, you have had a call from some crazy men who called and wanted to talk with you about your kayaking. And she had written to Wayne. I said, yeah, we sitting there. She said, well, he asked me a lot of questions. So I told him, and John's not here. I can't ask, well, what do you need to know? He said, well, the first question is, do you always get wet? I told him later, I challenged your kayak did not get wet. But with that, we got together and started talking about kayaks, and Wayne had to buy a kayak, and he went to Fort Benning in Baldwin over there. And knowing Wayne, as you brothers do, Wayne got the cheapest when they could get you the best price. But he bought a kayak and threw it on top of his car, and here he comes up to see me, and we go around in the Chattanooga little area down there, and I said, okay, Wayne, we're going to have to learn how to do this thing. And he got the kayak down, we put it down, I said, now all you got to do is to sit down in it easy, and it'll be all right. Don't worry about it, turn over. Well, you know what, he sat down in that kayak, like he did that seat by me, and you know what it did, over it. But after about 15 to 20 minutes, we got it in the water, and we started having the most fun and laughing at each other like two idiots. We really enjoyed laughing at each other about this stuff. And after a couple of sessions like that, and I didn't know it, but he had been slipping off and learning how to be a kayak. But after he did this for a while, I said, Wayne, it's time to go see if you can hit the rapids and see what you'll do about that. And I've told the story so many times, it's true. I said, there are a few rapids up in the Tallahassee River up around Horseshoe Bend, and we'll go up there for about 8 hours and make this loop there. We're going to do it one day. You take your kayak, I'll take mine, we're going to make a loop there, and we'll hit a few rapids and see how it is. Great, John will do it. So about a week later, we went up and left the car over here, the kids, and when we got back to the other car, took the kayak, threw it in the river. I said, okay, Wayne, you go first. I'll follow you. No. I said, Wayne, you can't get lost. You see how big the river is. No. You go first, and I'll follow you. I said, okay, well, then the excitement. I turned left and paddled for about 45 minutes, and I said, Wayne, we're going upriver. We're supposed to be going down the river. And we laughed about that for about an hour. We paddled for wasting our time, but finally we got to the rapids. And this was a funny story. I wish it had been on camera. I said, Wayne, now there you are. You've got about a foot and a half jump over this rock cliff. All you got to do is just don't worry, just scoot at it, and just keep your paddle out of the water, and you'll hit it. Okay, I'm going to do it. I said, okay, go ahead. No, you go first. I said, Wayne, you don't trust me? He said, yeah, you go first. So I got my tag, I took it, bang, I went bang, and I turned around, I pulled my back, and I said, okay, Wayne, come on. Now here's this 6'4", whatever his monster had, a little kayak, you look at a shoebox. And he's coming down the river as far as he can go, and he's paddling as fast as he can go, and he hit that big rock and he stuck. Half of it went out over the air, and the rest of it was back here in the water. Well, I wish we could have had not just that picture, but the recording of us laughing. We've never heard such laughing. We like to never got that big off that rock. We got it all, had lunch, and enjoyed ourselves there. Wayne was some kind of fellow that everybody loved, and I certainly loved him in the few years that I knew him, and enjoyed every minute I was spent with him. We have a lot of other tales I could tell you about, but I did want to tell you that. The one he always did, after he had lost Eddie, and after he met Yolanda, and we'd had it up at our house for dinner, and had a lot of fun. But every time that Wayne would go from Auburn to Atlanta, and go to the airport, and we live in Westport, he would call and say, well, I'm going up Highway 85. Going to Atlanta with this plane, I'm going to Zanzibar or something. He went everywhere. Then the next week or two, he'd come back and he would say, I'm on Highway 85, I'm going back to Auburn. 2 or 3 weeks later, I'm on 85. And I said, Wayne, we're only 2 miles away from 85. Why don't you come back? No, I feel better acting like I'm going somewhere. But he called us consistently to tell us where he was and the route that he was taking. And we were really looking forward to it. The band talked with him more than I did because I was selling home. But he called one night back in May this year, I think it was in May, and I happened to be at home, and he was explaining what he was doing. He was going to come down and watch to see James graduate. Is that right? James, you were going to see James graduate in July. And he said, when we get back over here, we'll get we'll get together and have dinner together and all like that. But in the meantime, I did want to let you know I'm going down 85, and we'll be in touch with you when we get back. And that was last summer in front. I used to laugh at him. When he was in love with me so much, he would call me and say, John, I haven't had. You don't believe this. And he'd call me a week later, and he'd tell me the same thing over and over. And I said, you told me, Wayne, but my response to you has always been, and always will be, nice and easy. And that's the last thing he said this time when I told him. I said, Wayne, I know you're coming back here. I don't know whether you was in Mexico ahead of time or not, but when you're coming back down here, remember, nice and easy. And he said, I knew you were going to say that. He was a great man and a great friend, and I love him.
I'm really grateful that Wayne and Betty decided to travel a little bit more and travel back to Auburn and retire again. Retire here at the home of their alma mater, Auburn University, because that's how I got to know Wayne and Betty. I was struck, I didn't realize it had been just 10 years. I feel like I had known Wayne for many decades, not just one. When he and Betty retired again, and came to Auburn, they joined AWOL. And being the kind of, what I learned later was apparently very typical Corless manner, they jumped right in. They jumped right in and they volunteered to do this, volunteered to do that. They were co-chairs of the social committee, which was a perfect role. Our programs were greatly enhanced by the absolutely extraordinary flower arrangements that Betty would make for the head table or the lectern. The two of them certainly knew how to put on a good party, and that's how I got to know them at first. Wayne's leadership ability was recognized very quickly. It partly helped because he was jumping right in and volunteering to do so much, but he served in all sorts of roles with AUL, chairing this committee or chairing that committee. And then he was elected to our board of directors. And that's how I really got to know him well, because the board of directors meets regularly and we deal deal with all kinds of things. So as one of the administrators, at that time, the administrator, he and I spent a lot of time together, especially as he was vice president, president-elect, and then president. The year that Wayne started his presidency was also the year that tragedy came and that Betty's cancer returned. I just don't even know how he managed. He and Donna were nursing Betty, and Wayne would come in, and I could see him. At one time in particular, I saw him as he walked up to the door to the building where we were having a meeting, and kind of straightened himself up and came in with a smile on his face, even though he had just left Betty. I have enormous respect for the kind of person that Wayne was. I'm not the only one who knows how much fun he always was, his cheerful and optimistic attitude, his sense of humor. I started to say good sense of humor, but he had a sense of humor, that's for sure. And loved to joke, and really did believe in the good of people. And that because he believed in that, it seemed like most of us were better when we were around him. He brought out wonderful things in us. None of us would have thought at all that it would be odd if during that year of his presidency if he had said, I need to step aside. But no, he didn't do that. No, he said one time, I need to keep doing this. I need to do this because this is my little vacation to come and have things just like we used to be. After Betty was laid to rest, he did seem to turn to us. He turned to AUL members who I believe he felt, and I know I felt like we were his family of sorts. We were the family who was right here. He opened his heart in his writing. He did, I think, serve as a real role model, as Terry said, for a way of coping with loss and grieving by writing and then sharing it with people who cared. If it was possible for him to become more active in Lions, I think he did, and began to do more and more mission trips. I love hearing about what went on and wonderful stories about the things that the Lions groups accomplished on those mission trips. And then, as Terry mentioned, on one of those, he met Yolanda. I was telling someone out earlier that I got an email from him saying that he wasn't coming back at the time that he had planned because he and a fellow Lion who was with the local group were going to do some more traveling, and it wasn't for a long time that we found out that that Lion was Yolanda. I was just maybe an ophthalmologist. But then we did learn that fellow Lion was Yolanda. I sure am going to miss Wayne. I admired him, I respected him. I learned a great deal from him. As I said a minute ago, I learned an awful lot about how the way we view the world is the way the world is. And he saw the world as a place to have fun and a place to enjoy life, and that the sense I got was every person he met, and every person he met was someone he could enjoy and a person who might be a new friend. I really, in his optimistic attitude, I've learned a lot about how to try to keep on using them. I think that he did do what I hope I will have done when my time is over. I think the world is better because Wayne Corless lived in it. He demonstrated what it's like to be as strong as you need to be, even when the challenges seem like they may be too much to handle. He lived his faith, as other people have said, there was no question about that. He loved openly and with joy. He did show me a way to live life, truly live life to the fullest. And it was very much a privilege and an honor for me to get to know Wayne Corless and call him a friend.
Met Wayne. When he came to relieve Ray, we were here stationed at Auburn University, and he was our THC instructor, and Wayne came to replace him, and we met him there. Ray didn't hang along around very long. He had to go to Vietnam, so the children and I stayed here. And then when he finished his tour duty in Vietnam, we were restationed, so we lost contact with Wayne and his family. And then, to our surprise, he retired back in Auburn, and Lions Joe Spooner brought him to our Lions Club, and he joined our Lions Club. And right away, he took over and started going to the meetings. We never went to a meeting without him. And when one of the meetings, he learned about the Vision Mission, which you've heard about today. This is an adopted program of the Lions of Alabama. And what we do is we get old glasses, we send them off to Florida where they're washed, and the prescriptions are read, and they're sent back to us, and then the Lions meet for many months and put them in boxes so we can take them down to Mexico, and where they people are screening and giving the glasses. And if you've ever had a moment that lets you know while you're alive, that is the moment when you put those glasses on a young person or an old person. We have a man, an old man, who walked about 5 miles to have a pair of glasses. And he sits, we were just about to close, and he said, I walked all this way. It took me all day to get here. And so we said, we can't close up until we give him those glasses. And we gave him the glasses. And joy, tears were streaming out of his face, and we were all crying. So this is what we do. And one of the people who founded this program is now an international director, Yamadu Acosta. When he heard of Wayne's illness, and then when Wayne passed away, he sent me an email and he said, Anna, would you please, I knew that Yamadu wanted to be here and speak, so he asked if I would read this to his family. He said, Dear Corless family, I deeply regret not being able to participate physically in this memorial service for our dearest departed friend and colleague, Wayne Corless. I met Wayne many years ago when he came to pick up his teenage grandson from the Alabama High School camp at Camp YCA camp, and we talked to Alabama. His smiling face, his natural way to approach the people, made an impression on me. And I invited him to come the next year to work at the camp. Well, I do not remember if he came the next year. He came a regular afterwards. I recall him coming to cabinet meetings so eager to learn about lions, and I was also so impressed with his dedication to his office. He never missed a meeting. When we announced about the Vision Mission, he was one of the first respondents. I thought it was great to have him on our team. His dedication to his job as the Vision Mission stage, Vision saved one day. He took the responsibility of all the clients with long vision screening. This is quite a job. He entered 500 or more people a day. Of course, he did get some help. That old guy knew was not a fool. He always chose the youngest and the prettiest local assistants he could find. He was assertive and was respectful of others, and was always there when we needed him. I felt I had a real friend all along. But when I saw his personal commitment to the mission, not missing one in 10 years, I was convinced that his love for service and helping people was paramount. Also, participation, you have to remember, Yamadu is from South America. Sometimes his English gets a little confused. And I tried to straighten it out, but I think I missed this. But one of the vision missions changed his life. We're in Palermo one time, and he said, Yamadu, I like him, that girl, Yolanda. She wants to dance with me. She can dance well. I could see in his eyes that sparkle that humans have when you feel something special in their hearts for someone else. He asked my permission to go to her house for her birthday celebration, like I was protected. True, he was respectful of leaders of the mission to notify his whereabouts at all times, just in case he was kidnapped. Yolanda and Wayne were engaged to Eufaula, and we had an intimate dinner for the occasion in our house. He was very loyal to me, and he was one of the few Alabamans who physically accompanied me in my vehicle, international director in Sydney, Australia, who was their honeymoon. Wayne always attended international conventions, and they were registered to attend in Busan, Korea, where I'm now attending the 95th International Convention. We missed him in Yolanda at the International Parade last week in Korea because our delegation was too small without him. We could not carry our American flag. You see, dear friends, we cannot fear to participate in a mission or other events when the fulfillment of our Christian beliefs are our guide, because the Lord is with us all along, making necessary changes to bring happiness in our lives. I strongly believe Wayne found happiness in everything he did, but he found service in others, the fountain of his spring in life. We thank God for having had the privilege to know him well and have as a friend. We already miss him. Yolanda Acosta, International Director. That's it. My speaker's due.
Or if anybody else would like to share just a word, we'll take a moment if anybody would. I would invite you to come forward this time, please. What a wonderful tribute to Wayne and Yolanda Donna. We certainly celebrated his life today. We remembered him, and I know that everything that's been said today was made him proud. What a wonderful encapsulation of his life. Let's conclude by singing together the first and last verses of number 378. And following the singing of verses 1 and 6, we then will recess out of the church to the front of the chapel. Our Air Force cadets are here, and they will present the flag, and we'll have the 21 verse. Number 378, verses 1 and 6, stand please as we sing.
Thank
St. David's Baby plants for the memory of Wayne Corless for what he meant to everybody here. We express to you our gratitude. And now may God's grace, God's love, God's peace, and His benediction be with you. Amen.
to